episode 9 of Upping The Ante in association with Bet365 with David Jennings and Johnny Dineen, counting down to the 2023 Cheltenham Festival. Now, Johnny, it's been a topsy-turvy couple of weeks for you, but I have to say it's been a brilliant 7 days. You got Monmoral beaten, Whiskey Welt won your charity bet last week, was successful, and you're tipping plenty of winners in the last 7 days. Please tell me that it was a profitable couple of days for Johnny Dineen.
It was profitable, but not much, not a lot.
But you're on front for the 7 days.
I'm in front, probably, yeah, for the 7 days, but not a lot. No, I do have plenty of bets as well. You know what I mean? Aside from the ones that I tip up here and there. You know what I mean? But
okay.
Lane Monmoral wasn't the be all and end all, because I did lay the loser or the winner the day before, Hermie Allen, and I find it hard to lay losers nowadays. You know
really?
that? I do, yeah, I do.
So the ones you're laying are winning?
They do, yeah, they
right.
do. They win with alarming regularity, I'd say. I would say.
Do me a favour, will you lay a few quid on Appreciated for the Arsenal?
I would say in the round of the year, I lose laying horses.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I do, okay. Yeah, in the round, but I can't stop it. It's like smoking fags, you know. you smoke 20 a day, but I'm down to about 6 now, and,
right, okay.
I'm trying to slowly cut it out. But
that's the bookie in you.
Yeah, it is. The skin in our DNA kind of stuff. Like, we look at a race and rather than try to pick... I hate laying horses in here when I don't actually fancy anything in the race, you know what I mean? And with Monmoral, it was only like Thunder Rock had a chance and... Harper's Brook had a chance. Yeah. Like, you wouldn't expect the winner to save you at the same time. No. And I did lay Monmoral, but it wasn't for life-threatening money at the same time.
For 3/4 of the race, you were worried, because I thought he was jumping perfectly and he was the only one travelling in behind the winner.
He got the run of the race, at the same time. But it just goes to show you what a good front-running jumper can do. They can win. They can win. They can win no matter, even if you think they can't win. If you leave a horse jump away like that in front, you go and try and catch him. It ain't that easy. I mean, like Thunder Rock was never ever put in the race at the same time.
It ran well, actually.
Yeah. It ran well. Like if the winner wasn't in it and Thunder Rock didn't catch Monmoral, you jump off the Eiffel Tower, wouldn't you? Like, you know what I mean? All desperate stuff. Like, it should have been definitely second in here. Probably should have been closer to winning the race even, and it might be second.
Okay, so you've had a profitable week then. What was Johnny Dineen's best result of the last week? Since you saw, it's only actually 5 days ago because we were there on the Thursday.
Yeah. My best result was getting the first winner in Tramore in the 11:55 on New Year's Day.
Not the short thing?
Oh, the skinny one, yeah. I was on that.
The 1 to 5 thing?
No, I backed it at 7-2 on because fellas were telling me there was no betting, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't back it unless I thought...
Johnny Dineen backed the first favourite at Tramore, 2 to 7.
Yeah,
straight,
yeah, win only, yeah, of course. But you look, if it's 2 to 7, I thought, the way people are talking, it's like it's Gaelic Warrior, it's 86 lengths is going to win by again, you know what I mean? So I said, sure, I might as well start here and pick up a few quid, get me started on the day, and absolutely sideways watching it. Jesus, in the dip there, I was saying to myself, I was looking... I think he'll pass the ones in front, all right, but it's the ones behind him looking at it saying, oh my God, well, like what? And it's not even how much I won, it's what you can lose on those ones. And it's the very first race.
I dread to think, Johnny.
But it's the very first race as well, which is massive. Like if the first ball don't go in the net, you're in trouble in the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the first bet is so important to any punter. Like you should have a good think about having your first bet in here because the first and the second bet are equally important. Like if you hit two wide straight away, you're facing the blackout.
And you're like Darwin Núñez, so yeah.
Yeah, that guy, he's hitting a lot of wides, yeah. But I look at 7-2 on, there's no margin for error. You can't get them wrong. Like.
So really. What were you like watching the race? So second circuit, he wasn't impressive.
No, he wasn't. What would be like watching the race? Like, do you know when you're watching it, you're sitting in a chair, but by the time it gets to the line, you're have to drop in about a foot.
you're thinking.
Yeah, exactly. But then when he wins, you're saying, oh, Jesus, thanks be to God.
Yeah. Well, I won't do that again, probably. Yeah.
Well, I don't normally bet 7-2 on. I mean, it's not an everyday week thing for me. But like when you get the feeling from listening to people, it's 10 on. You have to back him then, you know what I mean?
Okay, and he won. And it was a winning week for Johnny Dineen, and we're going to hear a lot more about it later on in the show. So as ever here on Upping The Ante, we kick off with our questions from the crowd. And the first question this week comes in from Seb Watkins. And Seb wants to know, how many winners do we think Paul Nicholls will have at this year's festival, Johnny Dineen? He seems to have a much stronger team than he has had recently. Give us a figure. How many winners for PN Nicholls?
I'm just trying to think now.
PF Nicholls, actually.
Yeah, PF Nicholls is right, yeah. Much stronger team. I wouldn't say he's much stronger team.
He does, Johnny.
Well, he's got two, at the minute, he's got, you'd say, 2 chances off the top of your head. He's got Hermie Allen for the Ballymore, and Brave Man's Game is probably his next likeliest winner in the Gold Cup.
Yeah.
And that isn't a likely winner in my eyes. Like, like Henderson is certain to have more winners than him anyway, for starters.
Really?
Oh, absolute no offers.
Well, you've one on the board there.
Well,
For Constitution Hill, yeah.
well, one might do you. One might do you. I would say, pricing it right, I would say, just say to roughly 100%, I'd say, this is the way I'd price it, the amount of Nichols winners, I'd say 5 to 2-0.
Oh, okay.
2 to 1-1.
Okay.
And 6 to 4, 2 or more. And I'd rather be laying the 2 or more than backing it.
Okay.
I would say 1 or 0.
Okay.
And if you gave me the choice, would you back 2 or more or 0? I'd go 0.
Okay.
Because bar like Hermes Allen is a legitimate favourite. Braveman's Game's no chance. Now you try and find the next horse he has that has a chance.
Well, he's a few nice kind of novice chasers that could go into handicaps, and he'll have more runners at this year's festival than he has at previous ones.
But maybe he'll win a handicap. But like he'll win a handicap. But it's a possibility they win. That's the reason that he's 5 to 2 for 0. But like I'd have my life that he'll win 0 Grade 1 races.
Well, no, you wouldn't, because Hermé Allen.
Yeah, I'd have my life at even money that he'd win no Grade 1 race.
Including Hermé Allen?
Yes, including Hermé Allen. Of course he would, yeah. Of course he
really?
would. Well, the odds will suggest, if you add up the prices of the horses that he'll have in Grade 1 races, I'd say it won't make evens.
Okay, so Paul Nicholls, who's an avid watcher of the show.
I'd say he watches regularly.
He does watch it. He does watch it. And Paul Nicholls is watching right now. How many winners? Look down that camera now.
Right.
Say, hello, Paul. How many winners are you going to have at the Cheltenham? 0. A big fat duck egg.
No,
0.
I'd say 0 to 1, and I'm guessing I'd go 0 over 1 maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say he won't, like if you have one Paul, you can go home. Because you won't be having a second. That's my reading of it. Remember he was down the pub one day, wasn't
he? He was, yeah. I have to say, I interviewed Paul Nicholls last year. First time we interviewed him was on a tour of Cheltenham, and his passion for the game, Johnny.
Right.
In his eyes, like he just loves the game, like loves the big days, and I think he could have 2 or more. Yeah,
I'd be erring on the side of the car. I can't see what he's got to have that many winners from either this year now, to be honest, you know.
Okay, there you go, Paul. I don't know what to make of that. And our second question this week comes in from Ross Jenkins, and Ross wants to know, Johnny, can you see Statler running in the Gold Cup after his performance at Tramore on Sunday? And if so, can you see him finishing in the first 3? Now, before we start this question, we will say regular readers of the Racing-Post will know that your wager of the weekend was indeed Statler in the Savills New Year's Day chase at Tramore. Johnny Dineen did not collect, but should Johnny Dineen have collected? Should Statler have won?
Look, I would say one thing. If I thought he was going to be ridden the way it was, I wouldn't have. I'd have a lot less on it, to be honest. Because like everybody knows, like Paul Town's a great rider, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, we're big fans of Paul.
Absolutely,
for starters.
yeah, absolutely.
But there's a big buck coming here now.
The but is that he's ridden as if it's not imperative that it wins. You know what I'm saying? It's not its Derby, like. He sits in behind it. He's riding a 4-mile chase with her. He sits in behind. Like, to even the fact that Roy McGee was in front in the dip, and like she's rowing the head off him in El Indo, and he's sitting in behind. Like, you don't come to last in Tramore, a length behind in a chase, and expect to win. And the other one is the rail as well on top of that. So
and is a strong stayer.
Yeah, but he gave it every advantage. The other one, to be fair, like I would say, if I went into the parade ring to Paul Town and I was the owner, I'd say, Paul, you have to win here. It's vital. He would have ridden it completely differently. Okay. Like he'd buck out in front of it, and there's no way to get beat. Like Roy McGee would be 50 lengths behind in the dip. So it'd be a completely different race. But they may.
Were you expecting Statler to make the run?
I expected to be in front of him in El Indo anyway.
Were you?
Oh, absolutely, yeah,
right,
absolutely. I did, of course, but the minute it didn't, like I had me cobblers on that Statler, okay, for starters.
After backing a 2-7 winner on the day.
Yeah, but I had a lot more. I had about 4 winners on Statler, if you know what I'm saying. Do you know, I negated 4 winning bets on one loser. So no, anyway, I emptied for Statler, but I didn't have a lot on him on the computer, on the machine, right? But I was watching waiting to see which way the race started. Now, I would have had more in it if it was in front of him in El Indo early on. But when it went behind it, I said, he has to pass me in El Indo now. Like, horses are not capable of passing each other a lot of the time. And if Statler was in front of him in El Indo, there's no way in the world in El Indo come from behind it.
Now, on his Gold Cup credentials, okay, on the face of it, he's rated £10 inferior to Menilindo. He's given Menilindo £8. On the face of it, if you think that was a peak Menilindo, this is a cracking run by Statler, was it?
Well, Statler, its next run is going to be against Conflated in the Irish Gold Cup. I'm guessing there won't be much between him and the betting, but I'd say it's a good chance Statler will even be favoured to beat it. And so, to answer that guy's question, has it a chance to win in the first three? Absolutely, absolutely. Worse horses would have finished in the first three than Statler. I'd nearly fancy the beat conflated in the Irish Gold Cup, and even though it's going to be second string, like I'd have my house in it to finish in front of Brave Man's Game in the Gold Cup.
Would you?
Absolute, yeah, and the guys next door's
house as well. Yeah.
I'd get a loan of the fellas next door anyway, just in case. Leave him. I'd put his house on it maybe, and my garage because we don't really use it that much. Right. So, but I'd fancy it to beat that horse of Nichols Protectorate, like to finish in front of them anyway.
Skelton, yeah.
Yeah, I'd fancy or Skeltons, I should say. Yeah, I'd fancy to finish in front of. Like, will it win Statler? Probably not, but it is a great chance of winning the first three though at the same time. Great chance. Like, would I fall down if it won? Certainly not either. He's a good horse like Statler at the same time, but I guarantee it won't be ridden the same way in Leopardstown as it was in it won't be coming in the last 20 yards trying to get up. Do you know?
There you go. That's Johnny Dineen's thoughts on Statler. Our next question comes in from Dennis McKenzie, and it's a horse we didn't see over Christmas, but a horse we've kind of forgotten about a little bit. Can Shishkin come back, Johnny Dineen? And if he can, where? Shishkin, thoughts, please.
Look, can he come back? The answer to that, I'd say, is zero. No, he won't be back. No, he won't be back.
No,
like, he's got to put two horrendous runs behind him. Like the run in the Champion Chase was horrific. And in the Tingle Creek, I know he's only beat 15 lengths. Like 15 lengths is a lot at the same time. And like he's finished about a half a length or a length and a half in front of Gentleman to Me, something like that. Like Gentleman to Me couldn't be found over in against Blue Lord in that race in the Paddy Power Chase or whatever it's called, in the 2 mile race in Leopardstown. Like Shishkin there's a mountain to climb now to get back into play, I think, anyway. Okay, they're all about him stepping up.
Could he win it? Like, if Allaho didn't turn up in the Ryanair, could Shishkin win it?
Not inertly. Not in a million years will Shishkin be winning in Cheltenham.
But like, there must be more than a 0% chance that he recovers some of his old form. No,
look, Shishkin is a busted flush. Definitely, absolutely zero chance of winning anything. Like, he wouldn't, there isn't a race, he wouldn't win the cross-country race. No chance. Absolutely none. Like, a horse starts running like that, they never come back. Where's he going to come back from? His last 2 runs horrific. They're on about going up and trip and that. Like, it's a bit like Jet Powder. They're gone, finished. Them horses are finished.
Yeah, but hold on. Tyne Hill was finished a while ago,
Johnny. But Tyne Hill is like, he's still not come back to anything. Like, he's won two he's won his 2 races.
Was very impressive, though.
He was, but that race.
But hold on a second. You had Tyne Hill gone. Forget about it. Don't even mention him. He's not even in training anymore. He's retired. And then all of a sudden he wins a Caught with Star Novice. He's second favourite for the Bride Advisory. He's got a massive chance. Would you have him gone?
Yeah,
sometimes you have to forgive.
I wouldn't back Tyne Hill in a race ever again at the same time.
Would you not?
No, not really. No, I don't think so. Okay. If you're opposing horses, they're kind of okay horses to have running for you at the same time. Tyne Hill and them kind of things, but Shishkin's runs are worse though. They're like, from coming from the position that he was in to where he is now. I don't think there's any way back for Shishkin. Like, the horse he's another Bob Ollinger. He's a physical issue of some description. I don't know. I'm no vet, but he has a problem that they cannot seem to rectify, and they're not going to rectify it now anyway by the looks of it.
Right. So just say Shishkin goes straight to the Ryanair. We don't see him. He goes straight to the Ryanair. He's 11-2. Allaho doesn't show up. He's 11-2. Shishkin. Any chance?
None in the wide earthly world. Absolutely none. I wouldn't back him to finish. Not a mine win. Not a mine. Like, I couldn't back him at any price in any race. I couldn't back that. Ever. No, ever. There's no price in any race that would entice me to back Shishkin.
Okay, you mightn't have got that, but just to paraphrase, Johnny doesn't think that Shishkin will ever come back. Ever.
Yeah.
And our final question this week comes in from Niall Murphy. And Niall wants to know about Johnny Dineen's punting strategy. Johnny, do you bet in running? And as a punter, what is your best asset? Okay, so first of all, do you bet in running?
I would do every single day, yeah.
Are you good at it?
Well, I put it this way. I don't have the technology for betting late in a race, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, I'm only playing at home the same as...
Have you fibre broadband?
Oh, I have broadband, but like, if you don't have the drones and like, you can't play late in a race, okay? So in a jumps race, I might play till halfway. In a flat race, you couldn't play past 5 furlongs, 6 furlongs to go, because you're running the guys in that will take you out, because they have a second and a half is massive in a race. You know what I mean? Even if it's a 3 mile chase, like, a horse makes a bad mistake, he's gone out of a race. You know what I mean? You do that in the second and a half some guy sees it in front of you, they'll clean you. But so I can play early on in the race. Like if I'd often have no bet in the race, I look at the race and they're off and it's say, oh, there's one that's 5 wide and out the back. He's 30 to 1. I'll take something smaller. I wouldn't 40 to 1.
What happens if one of them wins then?
If one of them wins, you put it down to experience. You belt away. One of them wins regular. I can lay winners like I can lay horses at 30, 40 to 1 that'll win every now and then. You know what I mean? But you have to have the mental resolve to put it under the carpet and keep going. You know what I mean?
You're mentally very strong.
Well, if you're used to this game with 25 or 30 years, you have to have some bit of mental strength anyway. You know what I mean?
Are you successful in running? So are you making money in running?
I'd say that I'd be okay in running anyway now. I don't keep track of every bet that I have in running or anything like that. But I could often back a horse and after a fence change completely. Like I'd say, oh geez, I want to be on this now. Do you know? Or I'd back a horse at say evens, right? It goes off in front, he's 1.6. I said there's absolutely no betting here now. Like I'll empty for it at 1.6. Okay. But if the danger has gone off in front and your man is, my horse is like 6 to 4 against, I might get out and pay a fine to get out.
Okay.
And now I'm looking at the race and saying, well, I can't win now. But look, it's all about thinking on your feet and looking at it as a situation, and you've got to react immediately. Like there's no
thinking on your feet while you're sitting down.
Yes, yeah, exactly, yeah. That's basically it. But look, it's all about like reacting to what's happening in front of you. But you've got always have to have it in the back of your mind is the thing you're watching ain't exactly live. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's okay in UK, like up to you've a second
or TV even, yeah,
or whatever it's called, yeah. But like at the races, like they're nearly up in the weighing scales, and you're still playing away. They've half a mile to go, so you can't go near that really. You could go out for the first couple of fences, but that's it. After that, you could forget about it. But like, I like playing and running. Actually, I do.
And tell me this, right? One of the things that people who have seen you on the show and mightn't have known you before you started the show, and know how successful you've been over the last 2 decades or so. The one thing they cannot understand, and people have said this to me again, you're not price sensitive.
No.
So the experts and the big punters, 99% of them are price sensitive.
Yeah.
You're not.
No,
Why? Just explain why not.
I'll tell you why I'm not price sensitive. Because some horses, like, I'd be price sensitive in the Gold Cup and the Champion Hurdle and all them kind of races, right? Where there is like big money in the markets and there's people betting into these things for months and months and months and you have a fairly solid market by the time. So basically, if a horse is 3 to 1, like I wouldn't back it at 7 to 4. But there are stables and there are horses that you cannot put a price on them. You just can't price their horses. So basically, I'll tell you a good example of what the other day, right? A fella tipped me a horse. He tipped me 3 horses actually of the one stable, an English crowd, right? I fell for the first one, back to the 3 to 1, right? I wasn't on it 2 seconds, and next thing, out like the Contiki starts going, right? So it gets to 7, 8 to 1. I says, I'm gone here anyway. Like, I'm no chance now. I'm done. So I finish up taking my stake out of it at 11 to 1. What I had on it at just bigger than 3 to 1, right? So now I can lose 8 times my stake, but I can't win.
And you were happy to do that before the race?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, because I got my stake back. Do you know what price it finished up? 40.
Okay.
It finished up 40, right? And I don't have to tell you what happened at it.
We will discuss this after the show, but I think I know the horse.
Right, okay.
It was in Ireland?
No, it was in England.
Oh,
it was in England, yeah.
Okay.
It was in England, yeah. It was in England, yeah.
So you backed at a 3 to 1?
Yeah.
And it ended up 40 to 1?
Yes, in the space of about 5 minutes.
Holy God. And this wasn't in running?
No, this wasn't in running. This was before the race, yeah. I backed it at 3 to 1, 8 minutes before the off.
Okay.
I laid it at 11 to 1, 4 minutes before the off, and it went off 40.
And how did it run?
It couldn't be found. They're still looking for it. You know what I mean?
Before we go on, one other question I have for you. Paul Keeley, Racing Post extraordinaire, top bloke, brilliant punter. One of his theories is, doesn't bother him if a horse drifts. Doesn't bother him. He would say, and I'll give you a perfect example. I fancied Aramax for the Fred Winter 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I said, oh God, now it was 6 to 1, 11 to 2. Next thing, 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s. Back it again, he says. Back it again. And he was sitting beside me, so I did. And he won, right? And I'm telling you, when horses drift, don't be afraid to back them at a bigger price. You disagree?
Well, look, I'm not. Everybody has their own way of doing things, right? From my experiences, if you do that on a regular basis, you wouldn't have an underpants. You wouldn't. You definitely wouldn't.
Okay.
I think, like, I would look at a race. right? I might have no interest in it as such, okay? And I could be saying, sit down. I'll notice the horses say 8 to 1, right? Okay? So I come in to watch the race, whatever. I'd say, what price is that out of interest? 18 to 1, right? That'll do me. I'll take a few quid out of it. It's finding it on the ground, 99 out of 100. If it's from the right stables I'm talking about now as well, you know what I mean? Because if they don't back them from certain stables, they ain't going. There's no price. There is no price for those horses. There is no price that would attract you into backing them because they just simply can't win. I would be a firm believer in the markets. I'd be a respecter of the markets. I will have more on a horse that, just say I price a horse, I think a horse should be 3 to 1, right? Like the famous last words for a lot of fellas that I know, and layers especially, when they go into 7 to 4, okay? Oh, this is very short. It's very short. I'm going to lay it. You go naked doing that. You go naked doing that. But if they go to 5 to 1, they're the ones I'd be laying, not the ones that I want to lay. The ones that fellas don't want to back, not the fellas not the ones that fellas do want to back.
Final part of that question: your best asset as a punter. What are you good at?
My best asset, I would have said over the years, was knowing what price horses should be in the races that I want to bet in. If you know what I'm saying? Okay. Like I can look at it. I don't try to price up every race, and there could be 7 races every day. I'm not interested in 7. I might be interested in 2, 3, maybe in a card. And do you know when the prices come out the night before? One time we used to be able to get at them in the mornings, okay? So the prices that come out at 6 o'clock in the morning, or 6 o'clock in the evening, I should say, we're out at 7:30 in the morning. And I used to be lucky enough to get the first bite of that cherry. Now that avenue isn't open to me anymore. So when the prices come out at 6, I'm looking at the price and say, okay, the horse is 2 to 1. I say, Jesus, that's a great price. That's not going to be 2 to 1 anyway. So in the morning, but the one thing you've got to remember nowadays, as far as I can see anyway, in the morning at 7:30, okay, if that horse is still 2 to 1, now I'm the only guy that thinks it's a good price. Yeah. Because it's been up for 14 hours and nobody's backed it. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, if it's into 5 to 4 now, which is probably the likelihood, you've got to make a decision now. Do I back it at 5 to 4 or do I leave it? Yeah. You know, like I never get this strategy of fellas pricing the horse and saying it's 3 to 1. Okay, it goes into 2 to 1, they won't back it. But if it goes out to 5 to 1, they will back it. That is for the Marines, that rubbish, in my eyes anyway. That is one way of going naked if you want to go down in my... Because do you know why?
There's a lot of nakedness in the show today, Johnny.
But why is it gone out to 5 to 1? Yeah. I'll tell you why it's gone out to 5 to 1. Because it's missed work, or it's working bad. Or that's why. It's the power of money forced it out to 5 to 1. That's why. And this for the saying, I'll keep backing him. Oh, stop with that stuff. I don't know. I don't get that at all anyway.
Okay,
no,
interesting.
You know what I mean?
Different strokes for different folks,
exactly.
Not to say, Johnny.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true.
But that is the thoughts of Johnny Dineen, a very successful punter. Now, folks, it's time for Performance of the Week, where Johnny Dineen counts down his top 3 performances of the last 7 days. So, Johnny, kick us off with number 3, please.
Number 3 was last Thursday, actually, because that race has been run since. So, Stateman, I'm going to pick Stateman. Okay. I thought Stateman was visually very impressive. Like he was ridden to perfection in behind the rag and was there to strike, and there was never ever a moment's worry if you backed it in my eyes, and he was never getting caught. Like on a normal year without Constitution Hill, Jesus, he takes some whacking in the champion hurdle. I think so anyway. Yeah, like he's clear second favourite now in my eyes anyway. Yeah.
How much of a race can he give Constitution Hill? I think he'll give him a bit of a scare.
He should be in and around there around the home turn anyway. You know, see what maybe chasing down to the last, you know, that kind of way. Like I don't personally think anything will beat Constitution Hill, but like on a normal year, like Stateman would be raging hot favourite for the champion hurdle, entitled to be 2 in my book anyway. You know. So
they're betting without Constitution Hill at the moment. Would you be very interested in Stateman without Constitution Hill?
I think without is the biggest mugs game of all time. You should never back a horse without the favourite. Never, ever back a horse without the favourite. Unless you know they're going to be reading from the back, because what happens is Stateman goes up and beats races Constitution Hill around the last bend. Constitution Hill gets the better of him, jumps to last, goes away for and next thing, this thing plods up the line and nods your man for second. The thing that was never even put into the race.
Okay,
you know
so you don't back without?
Unless I know a horse is going to be ridden explicitly for second place and coming from the back, and is taking no part in the race to actually win. But what will happen is that the second best horse will race the best horse, and the best horse will invariably break the second best horse and will cost it second place. So betting without is a mugs game. It always was a mugs game.
Okay, very interesting. That's number 3. Statement number 2.
Number 2 is Hermie Allen.
Yes.
Yeah, Hermie Allen was visually very impressive. I laid him, to be honest, I did. I laid him, and you know what happened as well? when it got messy, the ground got messy.
Yeah.
I was looking at the race first, and I said, "Do you know what? This isn't a great race." You know what I mean? Like even though there's runners, there was
Quantity,
numbers.
there wasn't great
yeah,
quality,
like when Joyou Meshan was second favourite, I was starting to get worried. You know what I mean? And like Vicky Vale was kind of third or fourth favourite, and like Joyou Meshan had beaten Vivi De Vito, who had ran bad in Leopardstown, and I said, and on top of that, Joyou Meshan wasn't guaranteed to go on the ground, which it probably didn't. Should pulled up in the finish. But then when it started lashing rain during the day, and I said, "Yeah, man, there's a tongue strap on it now, and it's different."
And wants better ground.
Yeah, you'd be thinking so. And I said, I went back in again and paid the penalty, but they didn't hammer it too. They put some money on Hermé Allen, didn't they? Like he was 270 at one stage, and he finished up under 11 to 10. That took some money to do that. I mean, whoever backed it wasn't too worried about the ground anyway. That's my argument about the money. And fellas are saying, "Oh, he's very short. He's very short." They're horrible words. I'm not joking. They're very short. I've paid the penalty talking that rubbish over the years now, to be honest.
Okay, so number 2 is Hermé Allen. Number 1?
Number 1 was Marie's Rock.
Ooh.
Yeah, I thought Marie's Rock was hugely impressive. Definitely set a marker for the mayor's hurdle in my book anyway, you know. Beat Geldings, beat him up a stick too, beat him out of sight. Yeah, absolutely hosed in. And I didn't have a bet in the race. No, I was said to you the other day I was giving First Street a chance. Then I was looking at it again and I said, "Do you know what, like, Bonneville had a choice here. He's picked Marie's Rock. Do you know what I mean? So he thinks Marie's Rock will beat. That's my argument of never back a second string. Like, if the jockey can't pick, if they can't pick the right one out of the yard, you shouldn't be backing it. Like, you know what I mean? If they think that Marie's Rock will beat First Street, well, you can't back First Street then. Because if the jockey has a pick, and he obviously had the pick, he picked Marie's Rock. So I personally didn't think Marie's Rock is as good as it is. Like at one stage there last year, I thought Marie's Rock was very average. Then she won in Cheltenham. I was saying she went to Punchestown. She's a million in the Punchestown now.
I gave her no chance.
Yeah, I give her no chance. Hosed in again, beat Ante-Post. And the way it won the other day, like it's gone from 140 to 150. This rising up, like heading towards 156, 7 up to 160. Yeah. I think it's the benchmark now for the. Like I'm looking down to the mare's hurdle. All of a sudden, like where's that mare you found, Brandy Love? Where's she gone? Like,
I don't know.
You know?
No, I'd like to see her soon.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, if you're on a horse now and you haven't seen it, like you're on a horse,
you're starting to get worried.
You are, of course. So like, when is she going to run? When is she going to run? Like the fact that she missed Christmas there in the race that she wear it well was in, like, that's a worry for anyone that's fencing Brandy Love. Like, I think Marie's Rock, and fellas on about the stairs, I wouldn't go on those stairs. She mightn't get the trip. What's the point? Stick to what she's good at. I think she's definitely the one to beat now in the mare's hurdle.
There you go. Johnny Dineen's performance of the week. It's Marie's Rock. You've heard Johnny Dineen's performance of the week. Now it's time for his Eyecatcher of the week. Did you find one?
I did.
Oh,
I did.
that was said with conviction.
I think I found
it.
I found a proper one. Actually.
A proper one.
Yeah.
So this is episode 9. Is this one of your biggest eye catchers in the 9 weeks?
This is the best horse that I'm going to put up as an eye catcher in my eyes anyway. Do you know what I mean?
actually don't know. We didn't discuss this before the show, so I have no idea what's going to come out of your mouth now.
This is in my eyes, this is going to be a very, very good horse. A very, very good horse.
Where did it run?
It ran in Newbury.
Chase or hurdle?
A hurdle. It ran in the race Jet Powered was in.
Stop, the winner won by about 1 million lengths.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Go on, what is it?
Klitschko, the
JP horse?
Yes, yeah.
This is actually, randomly enough, I think this was Ed Chamberlain's horse to follow for the season. Did it win at Wincanton?
It won a bumper,
and
then it ran I think it was Huntington.
Huntington,
in a maiden hurdle.
And it was keen as anything.
It's very free. Now, the thing about Klitschko is he's mad free. He'd a hood in it the last day, right? Yeah. Your man couldn't ride it at all the first day in a hurdle. It was like dropped it out and knocked down hurdles at all. Everything wrong anyway. The last day, they dropped it out again. They're obviously teaching it how to race. They can't get it to race. It's the second one over hurdles. It'll need one or two more runs, like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But I could see this being, like, I can definitely see this being up to a graded company anyway.
Wow.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
Could he be a county hurdle?
Yes,
horse,
a county hurdle or maybe an entry race over, that kind of a track.
Okay.
It's a horse with a lot of pace.
Yeah.
Maybe the Swinton hurdle, that kind of stuff. I'd say better ground is going to help it a lot too, you know. But he's well related too. He's a full brother to Arctic Brazil.
That's right.
Yeah, he's a full brother to Arctic Brazil. Jeez, he's a horse with a lot of ability now. A lot. Like he's dropped out in the next county against Jet Power. Do you know what I mean? Because they can't get it to settle. But once the penny drops and they get him to settle and run his race properly, I could see him being a very, very decent horse. Yeah.
Okay. Johnny Dineen delivers a knockout blow there with Klitschko. And Ed Chamberlain, if you're watching, don't give up on Klitschko. He has a future. Folks, Members Club is the ultimate racing subscription. And here at the Racing Post, you can subscribe for free. Johnny, all they have to do is click on the link in the video description and they can get the digital newspaper from 9 o'clock the night before. They can get tipsters, they can read interviews, they can get all the news, reviews, everything that's happening, Johnny. You can become a member of the Racing Post Members Club by just clicking on the link in the description. Now, folks, it's time for what's happening this week, and we're going to preview 3 races at Sandown on Saturday. Kicking off with the Grade 1, it is the Tallworth Hurdle, and regular viewers of Upping The Ante will know that Johnny Dineen has been talking about the Tallworth for a certain horse since about 2012, okay? So, it's D-Day for your authorised speed. Like, when Johnny actually agreed to do the show, we did a column in the Racing Post for the big kickoff or the big jump off. And one of the questions, horse to follow for the season. You said, and I quote, that authorised speed will win a maiden hurdle, win a novice hurdle, then he'll go to the Tallworth, and I think he'll win the Tallworth. He's won his 2 races, bit of a scare along the way. He now turns up in the Tallworth. Is he going to win it?
Look, he's every chance. Look, there's 4 possibilities at a push. You've Lucia, you've authorised speed, you've Timurus, and you've Arctic Brazil. They're the only 4. The rest of them are Mill and Zillan anyway, right?
I will give a mention for Evan Williams' horse. So it won't be good enough, but it is a lovely horse.
Yeah.
Astronomy,
I'll
right?
take my chances on Evan.
Okay. No, I'm just saying he's a nice horse.
Yeah.
And he's won the race before. Go on.
He has, yeah, you're right. Look, I saw the betting for yesterday, and they went 6-4 Lucia, 7-2 authorised speed, 7-2 Timurus, and
7-2 authorised speed.
and 5 Arctic Brazil. Now, maybe Lucia will beat authorised. That is a possibility. It's a mare's allowance and it's unbeaten and all that kind of stuff. And it has course form. It has plenty going for it too. And you just don't know how good Lucia is either. I was surprised that authorised speed and Timurus were the same price. I wouldn't give Timurus an earthly beat in authorised speed anyway. Timurus to me won in Haydock, beat Size and Patsy. That kind of form isn't going to be any good. I don't think it is in a race as good as this. And Arctic Brazil, okay, it might be a good horse, but it's a nice step up in class here too at the same time. Look, I thought 7-2 authorised speed was fair price now, to be fair. Like Lucia is still a mare. Like she's
still a mare, yeah. She hasn't changed yet.
But you need a special mare to come out and take on geldings.
Yeah.
I know Honeysuckle has done it and all that, but generally, and like Dawn runs it, but it's the special mares can do it, and maybe more Annie Power and all that kind of stuff. But generally speaking, mares are up against it against geldings, and like Lucia beat She's a Saint. She's a Saint got a present of a race in Taunton today.
How did she know it?
And couldn't win. So like that form mightn't just be 100%. Like Lucia is a very good mare. And she's getting 700, but I think authorised speed is a very good horse too. And Gary Moore's horses are going well.
They are.
And his novice hurdles, he won again with yesterday, Hansard, and that's a very good horse too, Gavega.
Yeah, Gavega.
Gavega,
well, yeah.
if that runs in Lingfield, the only place where they have that, what do they call it?
Winter Million.
Yeah. If that goes in the hurdle race there, and he'll come home alone, Gavega, because it wants bad ground, I'd say, But I'm going to go with authorised speed at the price. I think 3-1 or 7-2. That's like, I'm going to keep backing him until he gets beat.
Okay, there you go. Authorised speed for Johnny in the Tallworth. I'll have to row in behind you, Johnny, because I'm sick listening to you talking about authorised speed. So authorised speed for both of us in the Tallworth. Johnny, I like one in the Veterans Handicap Chase. I've spotted one.
Go ahead.
You
go first.
Sir Ivan was 3rd in the race last year off a mark of 140. He's down to a mark of 129 now. I thought he ran a lovely race last time he was 3rd. Harry Fry has his team in good form. I think Sir Ivan, the Harry Fry team are in better form going into this year's race than they were last year. I think Sir Ivan, I don't think it's as good a race as it was last year, this Veterans final. 16-1 with Bet365. Sir Ivan, off a mark of 129. He will do for me over a course that he's ran well at last year, so well, like he ran a cracker in the race last year. So Sir Ivan for me at 16-1 with Bet365.
Yeah.
What do you like in it?
I tell you, I actually love the Veterans chases.
Do you?
I tell you why. Because no matter what I'm losing, on a day I wouldn't have a bet in one of them. You know what I mean? Yeah. I love them. You can take a breather.
Yeah, I know.
And you can forget, because Veterans chases are the worst betting medium of all time. They're all 10, 11, 12, 13 years of age.
Yeah.
Like they're all gone.
We know by now you're ageist as
yeah,
well.
I am an ageist in relation to horses. But I looked down through the field now, because I know you probably wanted me to pick up some kind of a horse.
Did you pick something up?
I did. I went with Ramsey de Tele.
Yeah.
Because it's a bold jumping front runner, and if it got loose in Sandown, it might. Because it won well in Warwick doing the same
big chance,
doing the same thing. Look, I won't be having a fiver on it at the same time,
Okay.
though. You know what I mean? But if I had to pick one, I'd go with Ramsey de Tele.
There you go, Ramses de Tele for Johnny. I'm a surviving fan. And the handicap hurdle, I'm hoping it's good afternoon for Harry Fry, because I like Likely Squeeze, who I thought absolutely bolted up at Kempton a couple of weeks ago. Was with Tom George, came back to Harry Fry. Looks a different animal now. He's only gone up, I think, £7 for absolutely bolting up, I thought, in that race at Kempton. So I thought Likely Squeeze was very interesting in that 2 mile handicap hurdle to conclude the card.
Yeah, look, I looked down through this race, and it isn't exactly a vintage race for Saturday, is it?
It's not, no. It's not a vintage Saturday anyway.
No, it's not actually, no. But this is pretty poor handicap hurdle for
ITV,
is it ITV? Yeah, for a Saturday in Sandown. The one horse I thought had a good chance in it was Digelo, D-J-E-L-O.
Yeah, what happened the last day?
Well, I tell you what happened. It probably ran too soon.
Maybe.
Because it came home alone
because I thought that there was a horse of JP's that finished second, Halter Dudares, who I thought was spectacularly well handicapped, and he was a good second. He was hammered by Digelo.
Yeah, he made mincemeat of it, didn't he? Like at the same time, like it won with about 5 stone in hand away. Didn't it? Like you'd say, it could do anything.
Yeah.
It ran the next day in Haydock. It ran too soon. It ran 10 days later. And Haydock is a casey too, and like it's soft ground and it gets messy and it's not a place for betting 3 on shots anyway. Haydock in the winter in the jumps, you anti get beaten there.
So you're giving Jello another chance?
I would. I like it's had a good rest now, and I know it's running off its correct mark now, because it was running off about £7 higher than Haydock because they had to run it, otherwise it was going up a lot more. But he looked to me like a very progressive horse today. He won an Exeter. I'd give him a chance in that race, yeah.
Yeah, massive chance. If he's back to his Exeter form, he will take a lot of beating. That's Digelo. I don't know if you pronounced the D or not. It's kind of one of them DJ.
Oh, I haven't the clue now, yeah.
Digelo.
D-J-E-L-O, that's his name, isn't it? Yeah, I don't even know what language it is.
No, me neither. Okay, we're moving to Naas on Sunday. We've got the Laurels of Naas Novice Hurdle. Always a cracker, always a massive pointer towards the Ballymore to Cheltenham Festival. Where we don't know, we filmed this show before the 5-day entries for the race are revealed at lunchtime on Tuesday, so we don't really know, but you've got a feel of what you think the field is going to be.
Well, like I'm looking down through the entries. You have Grange Clare West, you have Gaelic Warrior, that's Mullins' big two anyway. You've In the Pocket for the Bromhead.
Yeah, I like that horse.
Yeah, you've 3-card Bragg, Irish Point for there's the Gordon Elliott, and you've I know the way you're thinking. Is it from that's Gavin Cromwell?
Or Gavin Cromwell, yeah.
So the winner's going to come from that 6th state anyway, definitely. Look, I would be going. I think 3-card Bragg is a really good horse at the same time, even though in the Pocket beat him. In thing, I wouldn't be surprised if he reversed placings within the Pocket.
Could he be something like? He mightn't get into a 1-4 something, but could he be a Martin Pipe horse?
Look, in the Pocket is our 3-card Bragg is a grade 1 horse at heavy ground in my eyes, you know. But he's not. He's unlikely to get heavy ground in England.
That's true,
he's a better chance of winning the grade 1 over here than he has in England, I would have thought. And he'd stay 3 mile to on his head. That 3-card Bragg, he's an out and out stayer. Look, if the ground was very, very deep, I don't know what'll the ground be like in Naas.
It'll be soft.
Yeah. Well, if you got more rain and it was 3-card Bragg will be seen to best effect in an unraceable stuff in my eyes anyway. You know, or borderline unraceable. Look, it'll be interesting to see which one Townend picks, if they run the 2, or would he go for one over the other. If you force me this minute, I would go with the horse that he's riding, whatever that is.
So Grange Clare West or Gaelic Warrior.
Yeah, I'd pick whatever he'd go.
And even though if you've tipped up Grange Clare West for the Ballymore, which you have, a great pick, you've picked him. Just say the decks come out, both are running. You have Danny Mullins, just say, on Grange Clare West, and you have Paul Townend on Gaelic Warrior. Would you still back Gaelic Warrior for that race, even though you've tipped Grange Clare West for Cheltenham?
If I got the right push from the right people, I certainly would. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. Okay. Like if somebody says to you, well, if that seems to know what they're talking about, say, well, Paul had no qualms about going with Ting. Well, you cannot back the other horse then. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, I just think that if these people can't get it right, what chance of a fella like me getting it right? You know, that kind of way. Yeah. That's like, I think that my reading of a race is pretty simple. If the people in Willie Mullins think that Grange Clare Gold can't beat Gaelic Warrior, well, he's up against it to win the race then, isn't he? Do you know?
Grange Clare Gold is anyway.
Or Grange Clare, or whatever he's called, yeah.
Grange Clare West,
yeah. I call him the wrong thing all the time, yeah. But Grange Clare, whatever you know what I'm saying?
Grange Clare, whatever you have in yourself,
like, how many times does he pick the wrong one?
Very rarely, actually.
I think so, yeah. I think so.
So, Paul Townend's pick is your pick?
Yes, absolutely.
For the Lawless of Naas Novice Hurdle. I'd probably agree, even though it'll be interesting to see if In the Pocket does run here, because obviously it's not that long ago since the Navan Novice Hurdle at Naas.
Yeah.
And I think In the Pocket. I like the ground that Rachel made up between horses in that race. And I think the last hurdle being omitted actually was a hindrance more than a help for In the Pocket. So I think In the Pocket's a nice horse, but I think it's going to be very hard to beat Grange Clare West or Gaelic Warrior. And that is what's happening this week. It's time for DJ versus Johnny, our weekly charity bet competition. And Mr. Dineen made ground up last week. He got his charity bet up. Whiskey Wealth, successful at 6-4 for Johnny, which brings him up to 350 quid versus 550 quid, which means there's only 200 quid between us.
Back in the
it's getting tight now.
Oh,
yeah, it's getting tight. It's getting very squeaky bum time. So a winner for Johnny last week. So he's on a roll. This week, Johnny, your charity bet, please.
I'm going to go with authorised speed.
That was a short price. I got my first bet up of the week. Johnny Dineen's charity bet will be authorised speed.
I can't find anything that's going to definitely run anyway at the weekend. You know what I mean? And some of the racing at the weekend, as you said, it's not exactly a vintage Saturday. So I'll pick something that has a very good chance and it's going to be maybe 3-1 shot. And it's the horse to beat. That and Lucia, I'll take a chance with authorised speed anyway.
Okay, authorised speed for Johnny in the 225, the Tallworth Hurdle at Sandown on Saturday. And I'm going for the biggie. This is the one. This is the one that's going to get me home in front. 50 quid on the nose, Sir Ivan in the 3 o'clock at Sandown on Saturday. Third in the race last year off a mark of 140, down to a mark of 129 now. Lorcan Murta is going to take off £3. I just thought, I loved the way he handled Sandown in the race last year. 2 really good runs at Aintree. First run of the season, actually, I thought was a cracking run behind Dingo Dollar at Aintree. Ran well last time as well, over 2 mile 5. This is his trip, this is his track. He's 13 though, Johnny, so like who knows what to expect from a 13-year-old. But I thought 16-1 was the wrong price about Sir Ivan. So 50 quid on the nose, Sir Ivan at 16-1, and even I can do the maths on that, Johnny, because if that wins, I get 850 quid back.
If that wins, I'll be shamed.
You will. You'll be in trouble.
Shamed. You're really trying to put me away now with 16-1 shot.
I'm swinging for a 6. So there you go. That is my charity bet, Sir Ivan in the 3 o'clock at Sandown, and it's authorised speed for Johnny in the 225. It's time for the picks, folks. Yes, our latest collection of selections. Jesus, I did well to say that. Our latest collection of selections for the 2023 Cheltenham Festival. And Johnny, it was a rough Christmas for me. It was rough.
Right.
It was a tough half an hour or so. It was an hour, half an hour, or maybe an hour it was. 3 Stripe Life and King of Kingsfield, 2 of my selections. The final day, we filmed the show here last Thursday, and it was bang bang. I was going to be in an unbelievable position or a terrible position. I'm in a terrible position now because unfortunately 3 Stripe Life lost his life in that 3 mile novice chase. King of Kingsfield, I don't know what was going on there. Like, he ran an absolute shocker. He never looked happy at any stage in the race. And I know, like, a lot of the team in Colentra were scratching their heads because they really like him as a horse, King of Kingsfield. Yeah. So King of Kingsfield looks like he is not the horse that I thought he was. So 3 Stripe Life is gone. So Johnny, there's only one thing to do in this sort of situation. And you know what that is? Just play it safe.
Okay.
Play it safe, okay? And I think 4-1 Hermes Allen for the Ballymore is the wrong price. And I'll tell you why, Johnny, right? So we spoke about him a little bit earlier in the show. You laid him, okay? I wasn't sure about Hermes Allen at all going into the race. I thought he might win, thought he was short, I thought it was a big field, something could spring up and beat him, right?
Okay.
Vicky Vale, who I was given a chance because I was blown away by her at Hereford, went off like the clappers. Now, she obviously went too quick, but he went after her. He was the first to strike at her, and he just absolutely sauntered up the home straight. Like, the reason that Hermes Allen is 4-1 Bet365 for the Ballymore is because of Braidman's game, it's because of Stage Star, it's because of the thinking that the Challow winner can't win the Ballymore. And we've been here before with Paul Nicholls, but this is a completely different type of horse. He's not as big as Braidman's game for starters. He's going to relish better ground, and I think he's a now horse. I'm not like people are saying, oh, he's going to win the King George in 2025 or whatever. Like, he is a now horse. He's different to Braidman's game. I think Hermes Allen is a now horse. And you know what I love? I love the fact that he showed nothing at home. So he's obviously, his work has improved, but he took them by surprise when he won first time at Stratford. Then he was very good at Cheltenham. Now, you can have question marks about the form there, but just visually to me, it's very hard to run in that Challow on that ground, and he certainly looks like he's going to be better and better, and just finish full of running, Johnny. I thought it was a hell of a performance, and I think the only reason he's the price he is because of past experiences with Paul Nicholls' horses in that race. But this is a different horse, this is a different year, it's a different season. I think Hermes Allen is going to win the Ballymore, so I need to get a winner on the list, Johnny. So Hermes Allen at 4-1 is on my list.
not playing devil's advocate.
No, you can, Johnny.
Yeah,
you can.
okay.
That's what the show is about.
Like, no, I'm not a stats man at all or anything like that. You know.
I know what you're going to say.
But I was only reading somewhere.
I know.
Not from 18 is.
Oh, I know.
Anyway,
I know.
but saying that, Dineen was second in the thing, and there was a few horses second, so I wouldn't really read too much into that anyway.
Yeah, it's a bit worrying though, isn't it?
But do you know what I took from that race the other day? No, I did lame it, but I hate laying horses to go off in front. Oh, I can't stand that because you're in.
Well, he didn't go off it.
Well, he more or less did.
Well, he didn't really.
He started the race and then Vicky Vale went up on the outside of him and then took off a bit. But at least Vicky Vale made some sort of an effort to take it on. You know what I mean? Whereas the other ones, they give it about 8 lengths. But what I can't figure out this for the life of me anyway. Do you see the fellas coming around the outside in Newbury? Like Cobden goes around the inside, okay, on the winner here, Mayaden. And you have these fellas going around the last bend, 20 horses wide. Like, do they think your man is a fool or what? Like, you know what I'm saying?
That man's a genius.
But, of course.
He's a
but
genius.
There's a 60 to 1 chance won the previous race that went around the inside. And yet you have these clowns going around 20 horses wide looking for better ground. Yeah. I don't get that at all anyway, that kind of stuff anyway. Like, trying to invent a wheel. Why don't you just keep it simple and follow it around the inside? Like, the second and the third went around the inside after it. Yeah. you know it well in Hidalgo or whatever it's called. Like, I don't know. But look, it won well and finished strong. Yeah. Like the second mare, you know well or I know. Yeah, look, she's a good mare probably. Like she's 125 at the same time. Like, you know what I mean? Hidalgo Bui, they're like summer horses.
But what was he value for winning? Like just say if he was pushed out, and Harry Cobden tried to win by as far as he could. How far could he win by 20 lengths?
Probably.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's my point.
But bad ground in Newbury accentuates winning distances.
Yeah, but this horse wants better ground.
Yeah. But he did manage to get away with it. I agree with you. I would say he does want better ground, is right. Yeah. But he handled it better than some of the ones behind at the same time. Yeah. And I'd say if you go down through the field, like forensically, it was a bad race. It was a bad race. Now, you're right about one thing, though. You're right about one thing, though, that he's the fact that Braveman's game missed so spectacularly in the Ballymore. Yeah. Fellas are thinking this is only the same kind of rigmarole again, and when Mullins comes, he'll tear him asunder. That mightn't be the case. Who knows? Yeah,
it'd be interesting to see what way the market is this time next week after the Lawless of Naas Novice Hurdle. But I just thought personally, 4-1, he should be 9-4, 5-2 in my eyes. And it's because of Braveman's game and stage start that he is not. Today you go, Hermes Allen, 4-1, Ballymore. It's unlike me, Johnny, to play it simple at this early in the season. I wouldn't usually be one for picking one at that price, but I just was very impressed with what I saw. Your selection, please.
Mine is a simple one as well. It's Marie's Rock for the Mayor's Hurdle.
You loved that performance, didn't you?
I do, and I think just Marie's Rock is on an upward spiral. Like, I'd fancy her to beat Honeysuckle now if they root Honeysuckle into this Mayor's. I would, yeah, absolutely.
Really?
I would, yeah, absolutely, because she's heading upwards where Honeysuckle is probably after peaking and probably on the way down. Yeah. And like Marie's Rock to me, like destroyed them horses. They won in a walk, didn't it? Absolutely won in a walk.
It's Dashel Drasher though.
It is, but like you've Dashel Drasher, First Street. I like to move with them. Nappers Hill.
But there is a chance I like to move in a Nappers Hill. Both didn't stay. No.
Yeah, probably.
Well, I'm just doing the whole devil's advocate thing
but like
here.
Dashel Drasher, like sets a goodish standard. Like it still beat Bruin Up a Storm and them kind of horses by half the track. You know what I mean? And it was never ever getting beat. Never ever. It travelled like the best horse. But I like about it, it's improving. It's improving, and it's improving at a rate of knots too. And it doesn't need to improve much. He won the race last year, so it doesn't have to improve at all. Maybe, like, who knows? Maybe last year's performance probably wouldn't be, but it's definitely got better since last year. And it's coming from a proper outfit too, like Nicky Henderson, who can. And I just read where they're going for, like, I heard some Beluga writing about it. Why don't they run it in the Stairs Hurdle? Why would you run it in the Stairs Hurdle when they mightn't get the trip? You know what I mean? There's a race there for Mayor's Hurdle. Run it in that. And
where did you read that, Beluga? Was it the
I don't know. No, I wouldn't. It wasn't. I think it might have been the Daily Times. I'm not sure.
Oh, right, okay. That's okay then, Johnny.
I'm not sure who wrote it, no. But anyway, always these fellas are looking for running in, another fellas going for the champion hurdle. Why would you go for the champion hurdle? You know what I mean? So, look, I think she's set a benchmark, and the fact that Brandy Love is playing hide and seek somewhere, I don't see much else in it.
I wish she'd seek soon now.
Yeah, I know. I don't see much else in it, to be honest. I think she's definitely sets the standard. And
9-2 at Bet365, that's a decent price.
I think so, yeah. I think so. Because there's only going to be one race she's going to go for, and that's it.
Yeah, okay, there you go. 9-2 with Bet365, Marie's Rock to defend her crown in the Mayor's Hurdle is Johnny Dineen's latest pick for the 2023 Cheltenham Festival. So Johnny has added Marie's Rock to his list, and I have added Hermes Allen to mine. So let's have a quick look at our list so far. Johnny, yours are rolling down the screen there at the moment. It's a big weekend for Grange-Clare West. Like 11-1 you tipped up Grange-Clare West after he won the Maiden Hurdle at Navan. Like an impressive victory on Sunday could mean he's 5-2.
Yeah, that's a possibility. But then, I mean, if he's second string for the race, you're in trouble before the race starts. And on top of that, his form is starting to get a bit smelly as well.
Coup de Chèvre was disappointment.
It was, and what is the firm footings? I know it ran all right, but that's all it did was run all right in Leopardstown. So it mightn't have been quite as strong a race as people were saying, and there was money for Hossa Charles Burns in that race. Like that ran a lot better in Limerick. That probably didn't give us running either. So look, it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. And if you were on him Ante-Post anyway, you'd like to see Paul Townend putting his name down alongside him at the same time.
You would, yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Time Hill has made it back into the reckoning, but you're giving him no chance whatsoever.
Well, Time Hill is a runner, and he's some sort of a chance, but I won't be backing him at the same time now,
I'm surprised at that, Johnny.
Look, he's a chance. Of course, he's some sort of a chance, and if he got soft ground and it was a handy field, he'd have a chance.
It's not going to be a great race, like.
No, at the minute, it's not. At the minute, unless something comes from left field, maybe. I suppose.
Well, I had a good look trying to find something for left field for the race because Three Stripe Life has gone from my list. There's not many. Like the left field is pretty bare at the minute.
Yeah, unless maybe James de Burley or something like that.
James de Burley.
James, is it?
Yeah. I have a son called James, so yeah.
James,
I have a James.
Okay.
We
don't they call them soccer players James?
James Rodriguez, yeah. I'll start calling him that,
yeah. Yeah, you should actually, yeah. Look, if he came and won that, there's a 2 mile 5 race in Leopardstown, isn't there, at the Dublin race?
Yes, the Flowgas, or Ladbrokes Novice Chase, I think it is, or the Flowgas, yeah.
Like, whatever wins, that's probably going to be favoured, isn't it, like, in the race. But as you said, there isn't looking to be much coming at the same time, but you never know.
And we do know, one thing we do know is that Facile Vega is very important to your Ante-Post picks, Johnny. And in breaking Facile Vega news, I suppose, Jeff Howard is now not a runner, you would imagine, in the Supreme.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's looking quite good.
Well, look,
he's going to go off 1-2, isn't he, Facile Vega? Shorter even. I could see him going off really short.
Yeah, well, he could be 7-4 on, definitely. Yeah, he could. Look, it's a possibility. Like the fact that he's so dominant in the 2 mile race, that's going to make the Ballymore a hard race, I'd say. No, you could have a big field in that. Yeah. Like anything that's inching either way is going to adopt a.
You're scaring me now with my Hermes Allen picks.
Yeah, that's another thing against picking a horse for that race. You're going to have a probably double figured field anyway, minimum, like, because there's nothing going to dip into the 2 mile race. I wouldn't have thought anyway,
Okay, so give your list a mark out of 10 so far.
Only about a 5, I'd say, or 6. It's like
better
chances.
Than mine, anyway.
Chances now, but
so Three Stripe Life, unfortunately, is gone from my list. R.I.P. Three Stripe Life, who was a very good horse, a very, very good horse. And for the first 8 fences of that race, I was like, he was jumping beautifully. And then Jack nearly came off, knocked Rachel off. And then, unfortunately, he made a fatal error at the second last when he was gone. So he's gone from my list. Obviously, Might Eye is gone as well from my list. So I've a few duds in there. But hopefully Hermes Allen can get me back on track. And I still think Appreciated can beat John Bond in the Arkle. So there you go. That's our look at our selections for the 2023 Cheltenham Festival. So folks, that's it for episode 9 of Upping The Ante in association with Bet365. Big final tonight, Johnny Dineen. The darts.
Yeah. That's
and a shout out to my buddy Jim Burke in our Liverpool group who picked out Michael Van Gerwen for us at the start.
Okay. What price was he?
He was 5-2, I think.
Oh, was he? Right, okay, yeah.
Not great, but it's all right. 5-2 winners better than
Oh, absolutely.
5-1 loser, Johnny. Will he beat Michael Smith?
Listen, I wouldn't be a judge of darts now or anything like that, but I watch it at night now, and it's good. I like watching the darts, especially in the Christmas ones now. I wouldn't watch the stuff during the year. I thought the betting was strange, that he was like 4-11 and 11-4, and like the other guy. I didn't think there was that kind of a disparity between them. Like Van Gerwen, a great player. They're 2 great players actually, aren't they? Yeah. Like I think if the other guy can get him into a buckle, he can beat him. But it's hanging on to Van Gerwen is the
only thing I will say
thing.
For darts fans that are watching. Smith is playing a very clever game at the minute. He's winning his throws a lot, so he's kind of playing as if if I win my throws, he has to break me, and I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think, because it's not easy to break. And Michael Smith in most legs gets 140, 180, whatever.
Right.
If he gets one of them, he's hard to break. So I think the price could be a bit wrong here with Michael Smith then.
Look, it all comes down to the battle, doesn't it, at the finish? You know what I mean?
Like everyone else in life, Johnny.
Yeah, well, darts is a great game.
Are you any good at the darts?
Useless, wouldn't hit a barn door. But
Would
that
you
one,
not?
no, desperate.
What, apart from now picking winners, what would your best sport be? Are you good at golf?
Picking winners?
No. I'm on about at playing.
Oh, useless.
Your actual
useless.
athleticism.
I joined it with my young fella there 2 years ago.
Well,
never played.
right.
I joined it for a year, but never played.
Really?
Because you had to be an older guy with the young fella because he was only 10, you know what I mean?
Oh.
So eventually we went up. He was playing and I was on the phone punting away and carrying from at the same time.
What would I hit? Is an 8 or 9 iron, Dad? Hold on a second. They're just finishing a Taunton. And so tell me, what is your best? What's your best sport? Like what? If I'm saying to you, right, I want to play you for 50 quid at a game or something. What's your best game? You know what I'm good at? Table tennis.
Oh no, I wouldn't be any good at that.
No. What are you good at?
I would be good at virtually nothing. I wouldn't be too bad at pool one time, but my eyes are gone now at the same time. You know what I mean? Oh, they would be, yeah. They would be. I could play pool for money one time, but against the right level though at the same time.
Yeah.
I couldn't play like Jimmy White or anything,
Okay.
but I find a fella that was reasonable. And I could play him all right. That's all I was. That was reasonable.
So
but it's
pool shark.
I was far from a shark. But it's all about. Look, any sport is about playing the fellas at your own level anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's no good playing the fellas too good for you.
Is that why you're on the show with me, Johnny? Is it?
Yeah,
You
but
found your level.
we're the same level. Yeah, exactly.
I wish. I wish.
I know you're.
But you know what? We'll have a game of pool sometime.
Yeah, we should do. But as I said, no, but the eyes are not the same as they used to be,
Okay.
and I think that's pretty important when you're playing pool.
It's pretty important when you're trying to pick winners as well. So that worries me a little bit if the eyes are not the same. But as we know, Johnny Dineen can pick plenty of winners. So as I said, that's it for episode 9 of Upping The Ante in association with Bet365. He's been Johnny Dineen. I've been David Jennings. Thanks for watching.